One of the biggest things people ask me for is knife recommendations. My hair is all fucked. So here's a video of knife recommendations. I'm gonna go get a chair. The amazing people at Knifeware sent me this dope fucking knife. They gave me an affiliate code. I get 10%, but you never have to buy through my link. You can just buy through them directly. My link is in my bio. I look at 4 different things to pick a knife. First thing is how fucking dope it is. Hell yeah. Look at that. That's fucking cool as hell. Hell yeah. Bonus points if it has that little squiggle thing on there. And this one's just cool because it's big. I think having a really good looking knife is going to give you a lot of confidence, and so you're going to be more willing to expand your cooking. The second thing that I look at, the steel of the blade. This is a carbon steel. Carbon steel is a harder steel. It also has a sharper blade. However, it chips easier. If you hit a bone, more likely to chip, which kind of sucks, but it looks fucking cool. A lot of Japanese blades are going to have carbon steel. The thing with carbon steel is that it does rust, so you have to clean it right away. You generally don't want to use too many acidic things. It also kind of sucks because I'm lazy and I don't like cleaning too much. This cleaver is stainless steel. These are probably the knives that you're used to now. They can rust. They're a little bit less susceptible. They're a little bit softer, so they don't keep their edge as long as something like a carbon steel. However, it is beginner friendly. If you're a lazy bitch, then I recommend getting a stainless steel knife. The second thing that I look for is the height of the blade. This is a blade that I bought a long time ago that I no longer use because it's too short. As you can see, my giant manly hands cover up the entire blade. I barely have any clearance on here. Sometimes my knuckles actually hit the bottom, which is really fucking annoying. With these taller blades, I have a lot more clearance, which makes it easier for me to cut and a lot more enjoyable, so I'm not fucking up my fingers. I always recommend having a slightly taller blade. On the other side of this is a really tall Chinese cleaver. This is about 3 inches, which is huge. This taller blade is really good for vegetables and shit. For beginners, one of the scariest things about knives is getting cut up, but these taller blades make it easier to keep in contact with the blade the entire time. My fingers are always in contact with the blade, no matter how high I go up. It allows me to have a little bit more security, so I don't feel like I'm ever gonna cut myself. The next thing I look for is for the curve of the blade. I don't know if belly is the correct term, but this knife has a flatter belly. Can't relate. Flatter blades are generally better for things like vegetables. It allows you to make better contact with the board, and rounder bellies can relate. These are generally better for everyday usage. Putting them next to each other, you can see kind of the curvature of each one. These round belly blades are better at throwing it in a circle, almost like a piston. These flatter blades are good for something called a push cut. Push cut is when you go up and down in just a slice. If you can only get one knife, I recommend the Sentoku because the Kana Montana is the best of both worlds. There's 2 more things that you might want to look at that I don't necessarily look at myself. One of them is the length of the blade. Usually they're between 6 to 8 inches, which people say is normal. I think it's above average. The other thing you might want to look at is the handles. This is more of a Western handle. I prefer more of these rounded handles or wah handles. These are more hectagonal or rounded shape, which makes it feel a little bit better in my hand. Here's a screenshot for this knife. It's a very good knife, super sharp out of the box, really lightweight, and is really controllable. The second is going to be a cheaper knife by a reputable maker, perfect for the beginners who are still looking for like their beginner chef knife. Thank you for watching my video. Forehead kisses.